Hello everybody, in today's video I'm gonna be talking about a certain YouTuber, and I don't remember the name, but I'm gonna go look for it, and I hope I didn't look at the wrong YouTuber, but this is some veteran guy, you know, um and this veteran guy, he like makes YouTube videos, I guess, and a lot. Like, he posts a lot. It's a little bit suspicious, how many times he posts in a day, But to be fair, he probably do got time. He probably do got a lot of time to post or whatever. But he never really shows his face either. Like, I could get it if it was like one of those things where it's like privacy or whatever. But it's like, dog, I don't know if he has an excuse for it, you know? Like, the only thing I can come up with is maybe privacy, where it's just like he doesn't show his face because of whatever reason, because he's not, former, army guy, was he's a veteran, time of recording and things like that, because you never know when somebody like this is dead, but he ain't dead. Again, time of recording, and man, oh man, he got quite a lot of opinions, But he's just big enough where he does get criticism every now and again. That kind of thing. But it's like, every YouTuber, big or small, when they reach a certain height, when they reach a certain form of popularity, they get criticism, Like that comes along with the YouTube journey, so to speak. And like, he should probably post less, on a day-to-day. Maybe post, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 videos a day. Maybe 4 at a maximum. So you're not fucking, wasting all your shots. That kind of thing. Or fuck, just post like once a day. That kind of thing. So you can have your brain focused on one subject and just talk about whatever, and have like that be in detail, in full detail, but to be fair, I'm not gonna dictate his channel, because he can do whatever he wants with it. He's got the time, he's got the money, literally. He doesn't even need YouTube. He just kind of just does it just to do it. Like, he's doing it for the love of the game, so to speak. That kind of thing. He didn't even have to post any of the videos that he does post, but he does. He does. Okay? Now, I don't know if it's true, but he didn't really serve, like, from what he said, he didn't really do any war thing or whatever, but he did not like being a cook. I tell you that right now. Like, the way he talks about it, he did not like being a cook. But again, it is still a little bit suspicious that he hides his face, but it does make sense. But the only other reason I can think of, besides hiding an identity, is maybe he's just one of those guys who's, like, really, really ashamed of the way he looks or something, because there are like, army veterans that, for whatever reason, say, like, doing certain stuff while they were in service made them have certain physical features, make them look like a fucking zombie character sometimes. They don't show their faces or whatever, But it's not really for me to judge, because, again, I kind of get it, because it's like, he's a veteran or whatever. If I was a veteran, yeah, I'd probably do that too. Not gonna lie. That kind of thing. But yeah, I know I would never serve in the army, because I'm physically incapable, mentally and physically incapable of doing such. But if I was, I probably would, But I'm not, you know, I don't have the physical traits for it. And even if I did, I don't even know if they would allow me in simply just for the sheer fact that I act a certain way, you know? That kind of thing. You know what I mean? But it is kind of funny to think about what if they did, you know? But, it ain't the end of the world. But he also does talk about things that I do agree and disagree with, you know? Like this whole, like, stuff with, what was it? Bright Think, Big Think, whatever the name was. Because it was a little all over the place. But to be fair, it is opinions and stuff like that. It is, you know, his worldview. So I get where he's coming from in the terms of um, like where he's getting that idea of, oh, this is this way or this is that way, you know? Because I'm not gonna be a hypocrite. I had people in my life, you know, in terms of like neighbors and stuff like that. Like for example, I had a neighbor I lived with. He was also a veteran, but he was a veteran a lot longer than most likely the guy I'm talking about, the YouTuber I'm talking about. But this guy, he was like, I'm not sure if this applies to that YouTuber, but I'm just stating an example of one person, you know, for an example of what I know from personal experience of veterans in real life. Um, this guy, he was like a veteran. He became like a veteran, like I want to say 1997, 1998, possibly 99. I should ask him again, but like I know it's somewhere in the late 1990s. And yeah, he eventually, you know, bought a house next to where my parents live. You know, well, my parents moved in, you know, back when they had, you know, my first sibling at the time in the 2000s or whatever. And he's just been living there ever since, you know? Like he has a bunch of children, you know, a bunch of adults, you know, a bunch of relatives, that kind of thing, which I can't blame him because he's literally an army veteran, you know, that kind of thing. And he smoked a lot, he did a lot of things, and he was like a very like strict mindset kind of guy, you know? And that's just who he was. And that's the veteran I'm gonna really be mentioning, you know? But I did have a couple other relatives that were also veterans. But he's just one example. That guy that I knew in real life is just one example. Simply for the fact that, you know, veterans are a little more common than people like to think they are, you know? But it is what it is, I guess. Um, this this guy, he lives, other than that, he lives a normal life, but he does crazy shit. You know, he's a very strict guy. He loves sports or whatever, and that was it. You know, but I don't know if this guy is the same thing. Most likely not, because it doesn't matter what politics they have, what religions they believe, what sports they like to play or watch, what food they like to eat. If they truly have an opinion, they will let you know, you know? Like, veterans, especially ones that have been in, like, the heavier side for years on end, are usually the type of veterans that will, like, be like, I don't like this thing or I do like this thing. If they let you know, they will just let you. They're like a goddamn warning sign, you know? They're like, hey, I don't like this thing, you know? And they'll probably talk about it for hours, you know? Like, I do have really long form videos, but like these guys, they're like making world records, you know, of talking one cigar they didn't like that one time, you know. I'm not saying this YouTuber guy was like that, but I think you get the idea. And what does this have to do with this YouTuber guy? Well, this guy would, and he definitely does seem like one of those kind of guys who would do that. He was talking all about this, oh, it just really sucks to be in the army or whatever, you know? Well, you signed yourself up, so it's not like you were forced into being into the army. Unless you were, then why would you be forced into the army? It's literally the United States. Guys, he's working for Jewish space lasers. He's working for Israel. Not really. Can you imagine if the U.S. Army was really just Israel forces? That would make absolutely no sense, because Israel is a different country than the U.S. So obviously fucking not, you know? But anyway, yeah, this guy, this YouTuber thing, and I say thing because he's got a weird profile picture, you know? Like, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just like, you know, choices are choices, I guess. What are you gonna do? Not the end of the world. Or is it? Whatever. Anyway, yeah, he's a very interesting guy. He does talk a lot about, like, what was that name of that one YouTuber I get the name of? He did talk about slop tubers. That works as well. Them slop tubers do be slopping around, you know? Make you just want to fucking crash out, you know? Out there in the fucking racism world, you know? Because this guy, he's not just on top of being a veteran or a YouTuber. He's like one of the true niggas, you know? Like, he got a certain mindset that I can really see, that maybe one day he won't just blow up, but he'll start making, like, videos that, obviously he makes good videos, but I mean, like, he'll make videos that are, like, really good in a way where he can realistically make it, and also actually be able to watch his own content, you know? Like, I always say, like, oh, YouTubers who make their own videos should watch their own content. But it's like, if you don't even like the video yourself, what's even the point of, you know, posting it or uploading it, that kind of thing. But I'm not saying, oh, every little detail, every little problem, every little thing should always be acknowledged. Sometimes it is okay to acknowledge that little thing. But most of the time, unless it's like major or it's like just something that is like you have to absolutely acknowledge, there's not really much of a reason to be like, hey, my video's a little bit shit, but it works, you know? But whatever, you know? There's nothing I can really do about this. But hey, this is just one YouTuber, you know? It's not like he's freaking, oh, I'm gonna blow up the world. You know, he's not a mustache evil villain guy, you know? Yeah, cartoon villain guy whose plans never work, you know? He's just a YouTuber who has a meatball thing as a profile picture, time of recording. But still. Good YouTuber. Okay? Definitely would recommend if you're into that kind of stuff. Anyway, I am going to end this video and say, maybe consider subscribing. So, yeah. Bye!